this is Lori from Shoo Paper Art. I'm making this adorable card today featuring the, let's see, Kitty's Favorite Things from Neat and Tangled, and featuring the We Are Memory Keepers fuse tool. You'll notice that the window goes all the way through. Isn't that cool? All right, so let's get started. The first thing we need to do is prepare the card itself so that it'll be ready for the shaker pocket. So the first thing I'm going to do is decide where on my card cover I want my circle, or it could be a heart or a star or whatever you want. And I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. The next thing that I'm going to do is prepare the card base. So I've already cut a card base that will fit behind my card front. Now, if you don't have a card front and you're just using this, then this step is unnecessary. But I cut this so that it would fit and hide behind my card front. And then I simply slipped in the circle die. And since my paper is 120 pound, I had to open this up because it wouldn't cut through both layers. And to hold that all in place, I just used a Post-it note just to kind of give it a little extra stability, and then ran that through my die cutting machine. So after I ran that through, I ended up with the top layer cut, but my window goes all the way through, so I need to do the exact same step all over again. I lined up my circle die, gave it a little bit more stability with the Post-it note, and ran it through my machine again. So this time I have this. There's still another step. You need to cut another back. So the back is cut the exact same size as the card base, and I need to cut one more window. So I'm going to follow the exact same process. I'm going to line up that back, slip in the circle die, and you can kind of feel when it's in the right place. That helps a lot because you need this window to be lined up. Hold that in, run it through, and then I end up with a back all ready to go and all ready for the shaker pocket to fit into. Okay, so let's get started with that. Now, to create the pocket on this card, I just used the packaging, probably from the Kitty's Favorite Things stamp set. But I've got another set of packaging here just that I've kept that I'm going to use for today. Now, what I did was use my die as a guide for my fuse tool. Now, let's talk about the fuse tool for a second. It looks like this. Okay. This end is what makes it fuse together. It gets very hot. You need about, I am finding about 15 minutes to warm up and be ready to go. There's no light or anything that tells you, hey, I'm ready. So, I don't know, you may just have to play around with it a little bit from your end. It does come with this stand to set it on. Now this is a little lightweight. You may find that you'll want to make sure that it's really sturdy, or you may want to, well, sturdy is not the right word. You may need to put something on the bottom to keep it from sliding around. You may have to use a different container altogether. I just find it's a little bit light. There's also a mat available, and I did go ahead and get that. Now this mat may be perfectly fine. I haven't tried it, but this does seem to be made out of slightly different material, so I have been using it because I sure don't want to burn anything, and I would do it. I would certainly end up burning something. All right, so you need some kind of plastic. It could be sheet protector. It could be, as I'm using, some packaging. I think you could probably use a plastic bag, like a Ziploc kind of bag, would work just fine. But anyway, this is my guide, and I'm going to use the outside of the die to get started. And I'm only going to go part way around and stop so that I have a place to fill in with this sequins. All right, so let's see how this goes. And you do have to kind of learn the pressure and how quick you need to do this. If you put too much pressure or linger too long in an area, it will cut, and so you'll end up with something that won't work. You'll have to try again. And it just takes just a little bit of practice. Okay. Oops, move that around. Just gonna change hands here. You can see I'm better with one hand than the other, which is odd because I write with my left hand, so you would think that hand would be better. But I actually found that I do better with my right hand, which makes no sense to me. And what's nice about this is kind of hidden and it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so I'm going to stop there and leave this part open. I don't know if you can see that or not. Can you see that? How it's melted together? Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this top portion off because I don't need that. I'll go ahead and get rid of some of the bottom too. Okay. And so now I've got this open spot that I can put the sequins into. I've already got a sequin mix here. I've got some stars and some hearts. I've got some see-through sequins. I've got some gold sequins in 2 different sizes. I think you want to fill it pretty full because it's really visible. And part of the coolness of it is that it is seen from the back and the front, so it kind of seems like it needs a lot. Okay, so let me get this filled. Once you have your sequins in there, kind of shake them out a little bit. It'll help if this is somewhat flattened rather than having the sequins all in one place. Whoops. Of course, you don't want them to spill out either. Okay, I'm going to put that circle die right back on there, and I need to melt and close up that circle. So I'm getting my fuse tool and let's close that up. All right, it's as simple as that. All right, I'm going to trim off some of this excess, so I certainly don't want it sticking out of my card, but I'm going to leave enough because I'm just going to actually tape it onto this back piece. Let me get rid of this too. Let's get rid of that. All right. So here's that back piece that we cut earlier. And here is sequin pocket. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to place that in. See, I'm still going to have to do a little bit of trimming, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to tape, tape that in there. And then I'll just trim off anything that shows. And I don't want to, I'm being careful not to make sure that it doesn't show on the inside of my circle. I don't want any tape on the inside of my circle. Okay, let me trim this up. Now I've got this all trimmed off so it doesn't show, you know, there's nothing hanging over the edges. And this is ready to go onto my card. Now I've taken that card base and gone ahead and glued it to the back of my card front. The shaker is just going to fit right on the back like that. So let's get that on there pretty quick. I'm just going to use, you can use you could use tape, or I'm going to use some Aleene's just because it lets me reposition. I find I need to reposition. It's probably, you know, I've told you before, I have glue issues. Adhesion issues, I guess I should say. All right. Lined up nice and neat. And that makes the window, the shaker, that goes all the way through to the back. Very cool. All right, well, let's take a look here at this card and the kitty in particular. There's a little trick to getting the hands of the kitty in the milk jar. So let's talk about that a minute in case you would like to use the Neat and Tangled kitty's favorite things. Okay, so I stamped the kitty onto some decorative paper. It's kind of got this neat light chevron pattern in it that I thought was kind of cool with the stripes on the kitty. And then I also stamped an extra set of arms. And so you'll need the kitty and, let me get mine, I already cut them out, the arms. Okay. You will also need, from the stamp set, a, let's move that up a little bit, a milk bottle. Okay, and for the milk bottle, I just use a little bit of BG10 and COO to give it a little bit of depth and shadow. Just a real quick little kind of down the side. Doesn't need much, just a little bit. So some BG10 and some COO. Make it nice and a little bit shadowy. Okay, and then it's ready to go on. Okay, now you'll notice also for the milk carton, I don't know if you can see that or not, I made a little, a little straw. Can you see this little straw there? Oops, I don't know if I'm showing that or not. Okay, so I made the little straw by cutting a really thin piece of white paper, really thin, and used a pink pen to do some diagonal stripes, and then I just glued that little bitty thin piece to the back of the milk bottle, like so. All right, so let me do that real quick. And it was easier to keep this thin piece of paper pretty long. Gave it a little bit more to glue onto, a little bit more stability, and then I can just cut that right off. Okay. And the milk bottle is going to glue right to this little guy's tummy, kind of lining up where, oops, turn it over. Okay, let me get hold of it again. Kind of lining up where the straw would go for his mouth. Okay. You can see his hands are hidden behind the milk bottle. And I kind of wanted his hands to show. So all I did, that's why I needed this second set of hands, or paws, I guess I should say. So we can glue those right on. And now his little paws look like he's holding the milk bottle. Just get that lined up a little bit there. Okay, there we go. All right, a little bit extra that I did on him. Let's see. Did some ROO and some R20 for his little cheeks. And did the same thing in his ears. And also a little bit of pink in his sweet little tummy, which you could probably do before you put the milk carton on. And just some COO here and there to give a little bit of shadow right there under his chin, maybe around his nose a little bit, and around his paws, his tail, feet, underneath the milk bottle. Just really subtle. Okay. And then just a little bit of little white dots to finish off his cheeks. Oh, and I forgot one other thing. Went ahead and colored in his sweet little nose. Oh, he's so cute. Okay. All he needs is his little heart, and he's ready to adorn the front of the card. Oh, he's so sweet. Okay, so let's talk about the ring around the card. I made that with 120-pound cardstock. I used the ring that I used, or the circle die that I used to make the window, and a larger circle die nested with each other. And just use this as an idea. Laid them on, used my Post-it note again, ran it through the die cutting machine, and after it comes out, I ended up with a nice ring to frame that window. And then he's ready to adorn it as well. Before I glued on the window on this card, I did cut a little gold doily and cut it in half and glue it underneath the window and decorate it with a little ribbon, and voila! You have a cute kitty's favorite things, practically perfect from the stamp set. I just think this is adorable. Well, I hope you will have some fun making your, oops, I got a piece of trash in there, okay, making your window shaker that goes all the way through to the back. You can always find me at shushupaperart.com.